Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the show of MRC that never stops, never sleeps. Well, it will in a few weeks as we'll be on Christmas break, but the nights are rolling in, so let's warm you up with some entertaining F1 action from Interlagos, Brazil. Joining me in the comms box tonight, again, is another wealth of knowledge to complement my own. The pedia to my encyclo. My partner in crime, say his name and he shall appear. It is Mr. Carl Edens. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, different intro than normal, Andrew, but I'll take that. But I don't like to brag about my insider F1 knowledge. I mean, I've been labelled MRC's Martin Brundle before, but no, I'm not that. I'm not. Nah, I'm far from Martin Brundle.
Oh, don't be so worried, but it's going to be quite a entertaining night, and it's going to be quite a enlightening night from both of us, I think.
Jamie in the YouTube chat, if BRD Calvin gets pole and fastest lap, wins and laps everybody, I'll buy him a paddock pass for every race next season.
Calvin, if there's any more incentive you need, there you go. So
no pressure, Calvin.
Oh, you're just sticking the knife in now. So Brazil, a favourite of yours, Carl?
Oh, too right. Beautiful track. Absolute great fun to race around the changes of undulation and the camber and stuff and everything. It's just top class track.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Classic.
It's fantastic. It's one of the ones you can actually physically race at with people and give each other space as we head on board with the Haas of Sam Flan as an opening lap as he heads straight down to the Senna S's, named after one of Brazil's famous sons, Mr. Ayrton Senna, who used to live quite close to the track actually, as he heads down the hill towards turn 4, doing that second DRS straight, passing the V-carb as he heads straight beautifully into turn 4. Not a bad first split time. This is where the undulation starts to come in, as you mentioned, Carl, as you head up the hill. The fast right-handers, turn 5, turn 6, climbing up to the top of the hill as we get into the tricky Mickey Mouse section of the track. 7, 8, 9. Back up the hill a little bit again towards turn 10. Nice little line there from Sam Flan as he drops back down the hill, down the side of the roller coaster now, as he heads up to Young Cow, gets straight back up and goes up the hill. On this one, and the first banker lap of tonight shall be a 1:10.4, which, no offense to Sam Flan, I don't think there you go, Chris has just proved my point. I wasn't going to think
that's on a set of medium tyres.
That is frightening pace there from the blowhole.
That's over a second quicker than my second run on a set of mediums I did earlier in Tier 2, as you journey 7.9.
Yeah, he's back and just going, here I am, did you forget about me, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here. As Air avoids
finishes like
196
to come across the line, and there
I'll speak of the devil.
7.8 for Ben. Yep.
On mediums as well in the Aston Martin. That pace is crazy on there. But who shall we go and have a little peek at? Chris is bailing out of a lap. Mudev's on a slow one.
LRL's just gone P4 and a 9.2.
Very nice. It's good to see him getting back up to pace again.
Mark's just slotting into P4 now yourself with a 9.0.
Oh, he'll be very happy with that one, even though he sort of cursed me a little bit in my race, but we won't gloss over that, shall we?
Sam Flan's just improved to 4th, and Calvin's just gone 3rd on a 7.9, so time's coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, but I'm guessing Calvin and Joni's times are both on soft tyres, weren't they? Ben's was on the mediums.
Yeah, you are correct. Calvin and Joni on the soft tyres.
So what sort of pace is Ben going to have when he slaps on those soft tyres, do we reckon?
A high 1.6 will be my guess.
Very bold prediction there, as we'll catch the end of the lap of G-Start in the bubblegum car, as I like to call it, or as everyone in F1 circles knows it, the Alpine. P8 on the 108.8, not a bad banker lap to start with. He'll be hoping to get up there and mix it up with the big boys again tonight.
There's Bobo 7.7 on a soft tyre.
That's impressive, but worrying also at the same time that he only just cleared Ben by just over a tenth. And what's the delta difference between the softs and the mediums here?
I don't know, because I didn't really use the softs much on the Thursday or the Sunday, because the tyre deg on the softs is quite high compared to the medium and hard. The tyre deg on the hards is very minimum. You can take them pretty much quite long into the race, and the mediums will happily do at least under half distance.
I wouldn't know, because as I say, I had to have, some of my race I had to have an early pit stop and get onto the hards quite early. But let's keep an eye on someone who was, unfortunately, was quite a lot in my mirror doing the Tier 2 race as a reserve, was Mr. Saviour. See what lap he can play out of the bag on the first start of his first run tonight.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Ant as he's coming through the middle sector.
Is he on the right tyres tonight?
He is on soft tyres for his first run.
That must be weird for him, being actually on dry tyres. Evening, Colin. Hope you're well.
Ant's gone P8 on an 8.4.
8.4, not too bad. It's a very small delta here for Brazil. It's not a very long lap though, is it?
No.
It's pretty close to. It's close to the Red Bull Ring in terms of lap times.
But obviously it feels that little bit longer because of that middle sector, whereas
it's quite high speed throughout, isn't it? The Red Bull Ring.
What is it? What was the original?
Oh, Saviour 6, 107.6. Yeah, beautiful lap. But I think there he is. He's on the soft run now. Let's go to the Aston Martin and see what he can do. Car looks absolutely planted as he goes through the centre S. Right, might encounter a little bit of traffic coming up though.
Yeah, you got a V-carb and McLaren just ahead of him.
They should notice the Aston Martin's there and pull out the way.
Yeah.
Saviour, I think, is the first one.
I don't think Saviour affected Ben too much.
No, he got it pretty much out the way. Saviour's a respectable enough driver to not impede someone's lap. As I think, is Ben going to try to get the... Is he going to try and get the toe off the McLaren a little bit up the hill?
He's 4/10 up currently, so he is looking at a possible
107.4-3,
somewhere around there, but it depends what he does in this final sector. He's too far to get a toe from the McLaren.
Wow,
7.3.
that's a stunning lap. That's a gauntlet drop right there. So
if that's so the delta between the soft and mediums isn't that high at all.
No.
Looking at it.
As we'll catch the end of Ujoni's lap in the Ferrari. 7.6, it goes to P2.
Just pit Saviour's time.
Yeah.
Saviour with a 7.630, but Ujoni 7.602.
Yeah, he just has to always go that little bit extra, doesn't he? Let's have a quick skim through. He's just finished a lap because he's gone over the barriers at the centre rest. Let's have a look at Kid Dynamite for a minute and see what he gets. See what he can get on this lap. He's currently improving up a couple of tenths as he heads towards the start-finish line using the P4. Very nice lap. And I've been noticing as well, a lot of cars are really hugging that inside wall on the left side, going up the hill in qualifying, don't they? Just to shorten the route up.
Yeah, it's you want the shortest route possible to the line to try and scrub off that little bit extra.
Yeah, have less distance to travel, isn't it, really? Oh, Bobo's just invalidated his lap. He won't be happy with that. I'm just trying to see, waiting until the yellow flag clears to see how long we've got left to qualifying. Just under 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, you got plenty of time still to go. As I'm just watching Bergen as he's making his way through turn 3. The winner earlier on in tier 2.
Let's jump down to the Visa, Cash App, RB, Spotify, PayPal, Halifax, whatever they want to be called this week. I swear they just thought, okay, let's just throw names at a wall and see what sticks when they're naming the team, didn't they?
Beautiful livery, horrible name.
Yeah, it's very end of 2010s Toro Rosso. It reminds me of this livery, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Red Bull light kind of vibe with the silver and blue. Oh,
it's very nice. One of the nicer liveries we've had this season, I think. As Bergen climbs the hill, see where he can line up in relation to his teammate at the moment. 7 P14, not too bad. Holding himself in some very good company here tonight.
Still got a few people down the bottom end of the timing pages. I should think will probably find a bit more improvement.
Yeah, Hodgie is just on it. Coming in the pits. Lorpy's in the box. Mudev's pitting as well. Oh, let's have a quick look at LRL as he's finishing his lap. Get up the hill as he rises over the hill in the kick Sauber. The soon-to-be Audi team from next season. Or is it, no, is it 2026 they become Audi, is it? Yes, my apologies.
Year in front as he goes. P13, 2/10 improvement.
Just behind his
teammate. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, there's a few cars running quite close in terms of teams as well. The Alpines are right next to each other on the grid at the moment.
Yeah, so the Mercedes in 6th and 7th so far at the moment.
It's just like the old days with Chris and Ant.
10, 11, 12, 13, it's 2x2 as you say with the Alpine and Saubers.
Yes, there's another reserve who unfortunately couldn't take part in qualifying tonight. Armar due to qualifying ban. He's holding his own pretty well in P14 too.
Flying the flag for Red Bull. Alongside Lord P, also from Tier 2.
Ooh, let's have a go. Let's go down to the other Aston Martin of the Tire Whisperer, Mr. Ant, and see how he gets on with this lap. Let's see if he can improve up the grid a little bit more.
Mr. Worldwide.
Is there a place he's not from?
Ooh, Hodge has just said in the YouTube chat, possible rain at the start of the race.
That's interesting, because we had
it. Brazil without a bit of rain.
Oh no!
Yeah, we had a tiny bit at the very end of qualifying, but it didn't affect any of the runs because it was right at the end of the session.
I tried to get out in time, but I timed it wrong. It's obvious. Ant's abandoning the lap. There's only, fortunately, about 4 cars on track at the moment.
Yeah, Sam Fam's smack bang in the middle of the second sector, going through the twisty part.
Chris is on an out lap with Kiza, his teammate for tonight. Clarence flying in formation tonight after the Constructors' Championship win in real life yesterday.
Absolute breath of fresh air that finally someone else besides Mercedes, Ferrari or Red Bull to win a Constructors in the last several years.
Well, it's their first one since, I still can't believe this.
1998, 26 years.
Hakkinen and Coulthard. Hakkinen and Coulthard in that Adrian Newey rocket ship.
And also that was the first season they ran the. I think it was the first season they ran the West livery as well.
97.
The West
97. That was.
97.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew there was a switch over from one cigarette brand to another at one point.
Yeah.
It was the Marlboro, and then it went West.
96, I think that was. Yeah, but I know there was an interesting interesting story about that car. That's actually from this race, which I'll tell later.
96 was the first season McLaren ran Mercedes engines, because before that they ran Peugeot.
Actually, it was 95 was the first year they got the Mercedes engines.
I told you I wasn't that good with knowledge.
No, but I'll share that story a little bit later on. That affected McLaren all those years ago, because it was actually at this Grand Prix when it was one of the season openers, actually. As Chris is just finishing up his lap at the moment. If he keeps on the pace he's at, he should just about jump Kid Dynamite, but the only problem is everyone else is going to be able to come out and have another run against him. Oh, as he nearly hits the Haas.
That was close to the Haas.
That was nearly a smash. Hits on a warm-up lap.
Stayed put in P5 though. It didn't improve.
He's just finishing his lap, but he's only a 10th up. Just over a 10th, 1.5, so he's not going to... Oh, never mind. Never mind, he goes to pole. He must have...
Snicks that front row.
He must have got a mega final sector. Because when I checked the telemetry, he was only about a 10th up.
Yeah, I think
on his best time.
2 tenths up, so he must have found another 10th.
He must have dumped that battery up the hill. But all eyes will be on the Aston of Ben as he's warming up to start his outlap. A little bit of traffic up ahead of him, which, as we said earlier, being a short lap is still a problem around here. Is he very peculiar line going up to turn 1?
Yeah, Saviour just gone through turn 3. He's got acres of clean air in front of him.
Yeah, as Ben drops down the hill, I'll actually put on the... sorry, I'm still learning a few extra things around here. We'll put the laps back on and see what we can get as he's coming up to the Williams, and I don't know whether they're on a lap or not. Williams up at the top of the hill. So he's coming around through the middle sector. That Aston is looking so planted.
Saviour's 2 tenths up coming into the final sector.
So that will put him close, but Ben's actually down on the second sector. Second sector, 700's down. He's going to need a mighty, mighty last sector to get pole.
Saviour goes to the top by this minimalist of margins, about
386. Ben doesn't get it. He stays P3. But as you say, look at the gap between first and second. 4,000th of a second. That is crazy time.
That's why I absolutely love Brazil, because everyone is so close together because of how short the lap is. Just like the Red Bull Ring, and you can mess a lap up even in the first few yards because of the turns 1, 2 and 3 are so crucial at the start of the lap that the lap can go just
I can agree on
early.
That. And stays P9. It'll be not
Bobo
too
goes
down.
P5.
Yeah, on a 106.9. He won't be too downhearted with that lap. He's still up there in the top 10 as Sam Flan is staying out of the way and trying to get back to the pits, and I think that is qualifying, Carl.
Yeah.
Just as it starts, it ends. It goes so fast, especially when we're having fun on here. But we'll wait for the Haas to be wheeled in, and we'll go through the grid.
With what Mark says at the start of the race, with the possible rain, and with how close it is in that top, I'll say top 10 easily. I mean, the entire grid, to be honest, is very close together, so it's going to be very exciting for the opening.
Oh, this is going to be a
laps.
stonker of a race. This will be an absolute stonker. As we head to the grid itself, with Saviour taking the pole with Ujoni alongside him. Row 2 will be Ben with Chris Bailey, Bobo and Kid Dynamite make up P5 and 6. Jules P7, Samflan P8, Ant P9, BRD Calvin P10, G-Star 11th, Micromass 12th, Mooddeath 13th, LRL 14th, Armar Red 15th, Bergen 16th, Kiza Soze in 17th. Then you have Lorpy, Mark and Error Voice running at the grid in 18th, 19th and 20th. So, early predictions, Cole. What do you reckon?
Well, if it was dry all the way through, which, well, there it is, there's the rain, and ooh, this is going to be an interesting start.
Yeah, it's going to be.
We've got the usual suspects at the front, with Saviour, Ben and Ujoni. You can't really look past those three, but expect Ant to slowly make his way through the pack because of how methodical he tends to be with his driving.
He's also very used to using the wet tyres a lot.
Oh yeah, it's probably one of his favourite tyres of the lot.
It's probably the one he's probably most well known for using.
Bobo with a bit more insight. Rain 2/3 of the race, so this rain looks to be in quiet for the majority of this, by the looks of it, 2/3.
Yeah, and I was going to make a very interesting point as well, that if it was going to be a dry race for quite the majority of it, the guys who use medium tyres probably in the qualifying runs, you'd only have one actual fresh set left for the race, so you can just go medium towards the end. Because as soon as it's a wet race, you don't have to use both sets of tyres, do you?
Yeah, and I went for the medium route in Tier 2, and I wish I never did.
It happens, but that little story I was just about to mention, it was actually after the first race of '98. There was one of the McLarens that actually broke down, unfortunately. It was Davy Coulthard's car. And as soon as he broke down, there was a photographer around near the car, and unfortunately he snapped something he was not supposed to see. McLaren were not exactly happy with him because he caught the second brake pedal.
Yeah, their teams are very secretive of the cars and what they've done.
Oh yeah.
During testing, you'll see all the panels up and whatnot to shield the cars and.
Oh yeah, everyone's so secretive with F1. But yeah, that was a little secret, little fact.
One of my first memories of Brazil that. Well, it weren't really my first memory of Brazil, but it's one that sticks in me well because it was just pure chaos. Was that race in 2003, which was red flagged early due to a big shunt when Mark Webber lost the car in the final few meters, and then not realising the damage scattered across the track. Fernando Alonso went full pelt into
one of his tyres.
I think a tyre that was in the middle of the track, which brought the red flag out. Kimi Raikkonen was named the winner, but after count back to the last completed full lap, it wasn't until Imola that Giancarlo Fisichella received the trophy for the win, which was his very first win of his career and Jordan's last win in Formula One.
Yes, it was their last win. I actually still remember something about that race. Fisichella's car actually caught fire as soon as it pitted.
Yeah, so good bit of a saving grace that the red flag came out, pulling the race early.
Oh yeah.
But I think one of the most iconic moments of all time in Brazil has to be just summed up in one line. Is that Glock. Most iconic moment in the history of this track that led to Lewis Hamilton becoming a world champion in 2008.
I remember that one well, but my favourite still has to be 09. Being the big Jensen Button fan that I am.
Yeah. Me being one of the members of the dark side back in the early 2010s, going to 2012 when Vettel ended up spinning round out of turn 4, pointing backwards on the first lap. I think I was probably one of a minority that was chuffed to bits when he had that miraculous comeback to finish in 6th place to clinch title number 3 to a stunned I mean, the picture of Fernando it was just a picture. The whole face was, what have I got to do to beat him?
And also the changing of the guard as well with that one, because it was Schumacher who let Vettel pass to get the title. But as we look at the tyres, which doesn't surprise me in the absolute slightest, everybody's gone for the intermediates, which is not a surprise in these conditions. But we got to see who can actually make the intermediates last the longest and try and get to the dry conditions. That's going to be the key thing tonight. Who's going to be able to keep their car alive?
What is it, four sets of intermediates at your disposal?
I believe so, yes.
So if there's, I know I'm going to get in trouble for mentioning it, but if there's any kind of safety car, expect probably a few drivers towards the back to probably opt for like a fresh set to give them the extra advantage over the rest of the grid.
That's a very valid point, as we not the worst of camera angles for this one,
but the camera angle we've got is a very good example of the undulation. You're going down and then back up again as you're heading towards turn 1.
It doesn't give it much justice, I think. Is that everybody's lined up?
You don't realise how steep it actually is.
It's crazy, especially when you're going at it 200 miles an hour, as we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And the Tier 1 Brazilian Grand Prix is go! As I'll just get this back up, Xavier manages to hold the lead going into turn 1. Is he going to try and hold the brakes around the outside of Joni? No, he's managed to keep it and save it. And they keep the front 3 keep line astern, with Xavier going into first, Joni second, Ben third. Chris is Bobo having a bit of a fight going down for P4 and P5. Dynamite is staying line astern. That Ant's made up a position. He's up 1. Sam Flan has dropped to 9th. Unfortunately, fighting with Micromash and G-Start. There, the biggest, there's not many. Pretty much everyone's just like only up about 1 or 2 places, but the biggest loser's Calvin off the start.
Yeah,
down
Calvin towards the back, but top 7 as you are. Xavier, Eugenie, Ben, Chris, Bobo, Kid and Jules.
But no, very good start from everybody, as everybody's just trying to work and get these heat into these intermediate tyres, and you've got to be so careful on the throttle around some of these corners around here, because I think it was a famous quote from F1, because this is like an egg underneath your pedal, you don't want to brake. They've got to be so careful on the throttle. Through here, as I think Joni's going to try and have a lineup of Xavier. Going into turn 1, thinks better of it. Ben's just keeping a watchful eye at the moment. Just thinking, okay, if you boys are going to start fighting each other, I'm just going to stay back here and...
Oh, Joni getting close to
just
Xavier run through turn 3.
Yeah, he's got a great run going down the hill, but I think he's probably got better traction just coming off that long turn 3.
Top 5 has left Kid. Kid's 1.2 off the, 1.3 now off the top 5.
Yeah, but that might not be too bad for him, actually. He can keep his tyres a lot cooler than everyone else's.
Oh yeah, following the car in front, it definitely does affect the tyres a little bit.
And there is Joni's keeping right in the gearbox of that V-carb. He's thinking, I'm not going to let you get away. You're staying with me.
Tumbling down the order.
Has he had a spin? Or is it just
down to 19?
Unfortunate.
He's got going again.
He'll be back.
Both Alpines having a bit of a mare at the start of this one.
Yeah, 17th and 19th, not going to be good for them. But they can come back. There's a long race yet. Is Chris Bailey still with the fastest lap at the moment in the McLaren? Fantastic camera shot we've got here.
Wet conditions, overtakes have got to be done the old-fashioned way.
It has, and I was wondering as well if it was going to be wet at the start of the race. I wonder who on the grid has sort of jacked up the front wing, the wings for this race, and just given them a bit more grip.
Well, with the information Bobo gave us about the rain being for 2/3 of the race, I would say everyone's got a wet setup on.
I would not be surprised at all. Sorry about that.
It's super close with the top 5 still.
It's literally... Oh, Joni's very squirrely on the throttle. And that one is just on board with him now. You can just hear it just trying to just get the power down out of these tighter corners, and it's that screeching just of the tyres as soon as you hit the brakes. But I think he's closer to Saviour this lap than he was a couple of laps ago. On this one, he might have a try a run this time.
And I think with the wet conditions as well, you can save ERS a lot easier as well compared to in the dry.
And the fuel as well. So I wonder who's underfueled their cars as well.
Brake early and lift through the corners.
Yeah, a lot of engine braking, especially around this place, especially when it's wet around this place. It's still not managed to drop away yet. This front 5, you can just throw a blanket over them at the minute. Kid's just all on his lonesome at the minute.
Yeah, I think most people are, because there's no DRS at this stage because of the wet conditions, and we've had no wet running whatsoever because obviously practice is mostly done in the dry, so you got to do wet practice or whatever in your own time.
Yeah,
I think most of the drivers, or should I say all of them,
probably would have
in a learning phase at the moment with these conditions.
Yeah, especially where the grip is. A lot of power slides coming out of Junsao at the moment. Saviour, your journey's taking a very wide line off that, going up the hill again. This one, I wonder if there's just a bit better traction out there, or is there less water up the top there? Maybe. Just keeping line astern at the moment. Joni's not really being aggressive, is he? He's just trying to see where Saviour's weak at the moment, see where he can get him on traction, see where he can get him on.
Lorpe's at a moment, he's just dropped down to 19th, and the Alpines are not too far from each other now.
Yeah, Joni's just biding his time at the moment, seeing where Saviour is strong, see where he's good on traction, see where he's good on the brakes. It's just the learning phase for them at the moment. I think as soon as they know, they can start pouncing a little bit. Chris,
you got the different trains as well. You got the top 5 in a train on their own. You got a train from Kid Dynamite that goes all the way down to Mark in 15th, who's just trying to stay on the end of it.
Massive Williams sandwich.
G-Stars round in the middle.
Oh no, it's a bit of a mare for him tonight.
No damage on the Alpine, so my guess is he's probably had a bit of a moment as Ben's pushing on. 18.2.
Ben's thinking now, right, I'm going to have a go at these boys and see what I can do. And just see what he can do and try and catch them now. They don't want to...
Saviour looking a bit wide out of 4.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the condition of his intermediate tyres are at the moment, because And how patient are Ujoni and Ben going to be to try and pass him? Because you don't really want to stick a wheel up the inside of someone and then just have it can be crashed off, do you, really?
No, and with all 5 of them close together, all it takes is probably Saviour to have a moment, and then all of them end up being collected if they're not got the reaction times.
Oh yeah, as I think Ujoni's had a bit of a slow one off one of them tight corners. As they climb the hill again for the end of lap 6 to start lap 7. And as you say, they've gapped Kid Dynamite pretty convincingly now.
Yeah, nearly 4 seconds, Kid, behind these 5.
Yeah, it's 5 seconds he's now behind Saviour, and the gap's just steadily increasing all the time, and I'm wondering if Kid's playing the game of I'll hold my tyres and try and get them to the dry racing on there, and try not to be as aggressive on them.
Could be. He could be playing the more strategic game and seeing how long he can take those inters with the track supposedly
getting drier.
to dry up from what we've been told.
No sign of it yet, though.
No, still light rain, quite consistent.
And there is that line starting to develop. I can see it just as the cars go through.
Yeah. Track will improve over time because
ooh, Chris getting a bit squirrely.
Intermediates clearing
adequate amount of water, I think. I think is the operative word.
Yeah.
At least there is actually more useful than the freaking wet tyre, which I don't think has been seen for a while, has it?
No, the wet tyre's hardly been used in real life these last few years. Don't think Pirelli can get one that works.
Well, there used to be back in the day, back in 2013, they used to never be able to make a tyre that could work.
Well, if you go further back, they only had a wet tyre, they didn't have an inter.
Yes, and there was that chaotic 2003 race again you brought up. On that one, but they're just settling into the rhythm now. 8 laps.
Few more gaps opening up towards the back of the runners.
Let's have a quick gander. This seems to be this front 5 seem to be the big battle at the moment. Everyone else just seems to be spreading out quite a bit.
Ooh, Saviour getting a bit sideways out of the.
Let's go up to Joni. He's closer than he's ever been. Joni coming up this lap. I wonder if he's pressured Saviour into a mistake coming up the hill, but I don't think he's going to try it.
Saviour doing just enough to hold position.
He's staying put, which is interesting. Although would we need to start probably having a quick look at the title soon, as we'll head down to Micromash and Ant going wheel to wheel through turn 3. Nice little battle there. Micromash holding P8 and Ant on P9 at the moment. Everybody's been keeping it nice and steady at the moment, so no one's really been too aggressive or too dive bombing at the moment, have they?
Nah, a lot of drivers playing it sensible with these conditions.
Well, it's what you got to do, really.
Ooh, Kid having a bit of a twitch in the middle part of the lap.
Ben really just gets underneath that Ferrari at the top of the hill, and that tight right-hander. And this is where he's getting the good run. And I think Ben may be closer to Ujoni than Ujoni is to Saviour this lap. And I'm wondering if he's going to have a go. He's looking at it. I think Ujoni was looking at Saviour, and I think he might have just nearly lost position to Ben if he got that wrong. But everybody's keeping a watchful eye at the moment, just thinking, where am I going to get you into making a mistake? Chris is Was Chris having a look there, or was Chris trying to cool his tyres? I wonder.
Probably be going on to the wet stuff just to cool the temperatures down a bit, possibly.
Yeah, because I don't think he was close enough to try and have a look at the pass on Ben, but it's this middle sector where I think he bunches everyone back up again.
Well, it's the key part of the track where I think everyone decides to set the car up for is that twisty middle part of the lap.
It makes up more of the track than the straight line speed.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't it? Especially if you've got to just get that run off the bottom of the hill. Otherwise, it just compromises you going up the hill because you just carry the speed up and up and up and up and up. And is that who's off at the end of the lap? Is that one of the Williams?
That is Mark.
Oh dear, he's having a bit of a
just having a look at Mark, see if there's any damage roads on the car.
Is just going with Jules?
There's no damage on the Williams.
Jules has got ahead of Kid Dynamite, and I think Kid might lose a position to Micromash going down into turn 4 here. As Micromash holds the inside and makes it stick. Yes, he's pulled it off. Oh, Hodgie's parked in the pits. I wonder if he might have had any damage off of that, or whether the car was just not responding well to him tonight.
You mentioned that even Micromash is past Kid as well. Kid's down to P8 now. Yeah,
I was just on board with him a few minutes ago when he made the overtake, and I think he's eyeing up the back of that Mercedes at the moment. So we'll keep with these guys for a few minutes. See what happens.
See if that gap comes down now that they've got someone else in the front. But
yeah, Kid might be
stable at 6.8.
Kid might be thinking, okay, let these guys go ahead and see if they can pull me along a little bit. And this one, as I'll just check the chat quickly.
Lost the rear down the hill, turn 11, red rear, wing damage for Mark,
yeah.
So no surprise he retired on that one, because
it's unfortunate.
Rear wing damage in these conditions,
you'll be a Beyblade pretty much around every corner as Jules gets very squirrely out of turn 4. And this one, I wonder if he's... I wonder how these tyres are feeling now after 12 laps. Whether they're in a good nick or not. So I'll have a quick scan through the field just to see how everyone is.
Not quite half distance yet.
There's Bobo's right on the back of Bailey, and I think he's going to try him into turn 1.
Yeah.
And this one, he's right up the rear wing of the McLaren, because he's fallen a little bit off the front 3 now. There's Chris.
Yeah, I am looking at something, but I'm not going to say because it gives too much information away.
We don't want to be giving people psychological advantages now, do we?
No, especially with a certain mechanic.
Should we say it just rhymes with the system that deals with the rear wing? Shall we?
Along those lines.
I wonder now is how these tyres are looking for this front group, because they've been following each other now pretty much the whole race, and I wonder how much these tyres are burning up at the moment. Just to keep it, as Ben is right on the back of the Ferrari now. I think is he gonna try it down the start-finish straight to go into the center S's at turn 1. I think he's dropping off just a little bit. But he'll have a go, but I don't think no, he's thinking better of it. Back. Doesn't really try it, but it's settling into the groove still with this front lot.
Jules is bringing that gap down a little bit. It was over 7 seconds, it's now down to 6.6, so he is closing in on this bunch of 5, but ever so slightly.
This front 5 are doing something quite clever. They're not really fighting each other, are they? So it's not giving everyone else behind any chance to catch up, are they?
No, that is true.
So I wonder if this is quite intelligent play from these guys.
Five different teams, but 3 different engine suppliers.
Ah, yes.
Mercedes in the Aston, the McLaren in the Mercedes. You got the Red Bull powertrain / Honda in the RB, and then obviously the Ferrari in that Ferrari.
Which will be partnering up with Ford in a couple of years, won't they?
Ooh, Ben going side by side with your journey, had a little look, but
backs out of it.
Sensibly backed out.
Wasn't far enough alongside, but this is going to give Chris and Bobo a chance as Micromash has managed to get past Jules now as well into turn 1.
Yep, so gap's opened up again to...
Yeah, and I think it's because these two are fighting each other.
Yeah, and as you say, the top 5 are not. Well, they
are.
Ooh! Jules with a great save out of turn 4.
Got very squirrely then. I wonder if he's just trying to hold on to the wheel.
Oh, Bergen track limits. First one of the evening.
Air Voice joins the retirement club tonight. Unfortunate from Fabian, but he'll be back for the next one. Fantastic camera shot we're getting from the game tonight involving this front group.
Yeah, you can see the dry line getting more and more clear as we're not far
just clearing the spray, yeah.
Now.
There's going to be one key message I know every driver will be looking for to just help him decide when it's time to come in and pit.
Oh, the switch to dries is going to be the most crucial part, especially in this top 5 battle.
As they're trying to just avoid the ghosted Haas of Air Voice. I thought it'd stop raining then for a minute looking at that camera.
No, it's still raining. It still seems to be quite consistent though at this stage. It's not slowing up a bit. It's still saying it's a consistent.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be a last sort of 10-15 lap sort of deal. Possibly.
Yeah, depending on how late it is, you may be forced to probably trying to finish on intermediates while the track is dry, because we've had moments like that in the past.
Yeah, because they can work on the dry surface, because I think it's a shallower tread block, isn't it, on the intermediate tyres, which allows them to heat up faster. As they're just having feelers in for each other at the minute, just trying to work out whether they can get the brakes on or not and make the move clean and not be missing a wheel in the barrier somewhere. It's just chess at the moment. They're just trying to work out who's going to be where. Micromash has dropped Jules a little bit now. These two seem to be a little bit of their own no man's land at the moment.
Yeah,
P6 and P7.
Well being off of Jules, he's got Ant and Sam planned for company in that little gaggle of 3 from 8th, 9th and 10th for the remaining points.
We'll hold on with these guys for a little bit and see what comes of it. Then getting very squirrely just at the top of the hill. And they're trying to work out if he can just follow Kid Dynamite, just try and stick with him. Just try and not make a mistake and keep it clean. No, it's just with this front 5, it's just been so close. As I think Joni again, he can get within the 2/10 of Savage to try and go for the lead, but I think they're just having looks. They're just trying to see what's going on with that. It's gonna come into as well soon. I think who's been taking care of the tyres at the moment. Who's been not wearing them out
with the with people as well. It's who's managing their ERS levels as well.
Yeah, that's going to be key as well, because they're going to be needing them up the hill if it comes to it.
Like I said, I know one bit of information, but I don't want to give it out because it can be information that can be critical for some drivers.
Yellow flag.
All kids at a moment.
Any damage? Safety car.
He's lost the front wing on the exit of 4. So
first safety car of the night.
I expect most people to look at a fresh set of inters because we are at the half distance.
That is a very good point. Let's see how many laps these have.
And I think it's not raining neither. I think it stopped as well.
It's all on the 17 lap tyres. I think you may be right.
Yeah, and the track's looking quite dry as well. But who's going to be the first to try the dry tyres is my question now.
Everybody's coming in. Ben's in, Chris is in, Bobo's in, Micromash should follow. That's just what they're going to put on. What each crew's going to. That's what every crew's going to put on. Go to the dries.
Oh, Chris has gone hards, whereas the rest of the front 5 have gone mediums.
That's going to be interesting.
Oh, sorry. I think Kid tried to overtake Armour into the pit lane and got a bit sandwiched into the wall.
And it's going on the harder tyres as well. That's interesting.
Moment.
That's interesting. The medium should go to the 15-16 laps. We'll get after the safety car, but Chris should be fine to the end as well.
Ant's gone hards as well.
Yeah, and I'm wondering with these cooler conditions, how quickly can Chris get these tyres fired up? Because they're going to be not great for a first few laps for him.
Yeah, and with the way the field's spread out, obviously we ain't had a full lap on the safety car yet. I'm going to predict that the safety car will be in around about lap 21 onto 22.
That's a very strong shout, but shall we have a few more track facts, shall we? A few more facts about the circuit?
Well, I can getting a bit tongue-tied. The Interlagos circuit, also known as the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, I think.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Good pronunciation.
I've butchered it many times in the past. Is sat exactly 50 miles southwest of the centre of central Sao Paulo. So
it's a good, accessible track for the fans, then, is it? Bobo's pitted again.
Like ooh, interesting.
Bobo switched over. He's gone medium to medium on again. But he's going to be right at the...
thinking of trying to have the fresher tyre.
He's going to be right at the back, though.
Yeah, he's
got front wing damage too.
Oh, so he must have hit somebody on the
but the team did not fix his wing though. They still got the missing end plate.
Michael in the YouTube is saying hard runners are cooked.
Interesting.
Anything can happen.
Oh,
as we all know.
But
I mean, look at the first lap. Look at the first lap in Abu Dhabi at the weekend.
Yeah, Lando Norris kept the lead.
Chaos.
Yeah, Lando kept the lead as well.
And Max decided to go bowling with Piastri. Oh, did I just say that?
But no. Do you want to know who it's like Senna's best win here? 91.
Yeah, he only won his home Grand Prix once in '91.
When he was stuck in 5th gear?
In 6th gear.
Oh. He was stuck in gear.
He was stuck in. And he was that drained after the race.
He couldn't even get out of the car.
Sid Watkins and some of the marshals had to help him out of the car because he was that drained.
From holding the car in the accelerator so much.
The driver that was chasing him down that day, I think was Patrese, yes, in the Williams after Mansell binned it early in the race.
But do you want to know the driver who probably is the most unluckiest here, and he's never actually been able to win his own Grand Prix?
Rubens Barrichello.
You would be correct.
Came close. I don't think he finished a lot. He had this very, very harsh curse at his home event because I think he DNF'd most of his home races.
Yeah, the car packed up on him a lot. Even when he was at Ferrari, he didn't. The car packed up on him loads.
Very poor reliability.
Very bad luck. Very bad luck as well, especially when he was chasing down Button for the championship. He actually got a puncture while he was leading the race, and that dropped him behind Button into P8, while Button was P5, and that managed to get him the title that year. But do you want to know a scary coincidence?
Go on.
It was at the same Grand Prix, successive years, that Car 22, driven by a British driver with a Mercedes engine,
had won a world championship.
Won the world championship here.
I think we should have, there it is, there's the lights out on the safety car, so lap 21 onto 22 was the correct call.
It was, and it was Button and Hamilton when they won their championships. Well, Hamilton's first and Jensen's only one, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
when is Xavier going to gun it? When is he going to drop the acceleration and just say, right, I'm running for the hills, see you boys later? We got to see as well who's got the heat in those tyres at the moment. He's gone now, I think. Yep, he's caught Ujoni out napping a little bit. Ujoni is under the risk of being under attack from Ben as Michael Mass and Jules. Yeah, I wonder if there's a bit of damage on the front with 3 seconds to Michael Mass for the warning. That's unfortunate. He's going to run out of laps to try and break away from that 3 seconds as we'll drop back as Samflan's been a bit opportunistic as well. He's got into P7.
Lorpe with 3 seconds. Armar's plummeted down the order.
Yeah, I wonder if there's been any sort of crash for him or not, but it's looking pretty much line astern at the moment, but Xavier's going to need to try and break away from Ujoni to try and get away from that DRS.
It's a completely different race now because we're on a dry track now and everyone's on dry tyres, so it's like a completely different race at this stage now. Yeah,
it is, as we're trying just to see who can get a little bit. I think that's G-Star round again, isn't it?
Yeah, G-Star.
Middle sector.
I'll have a look, see if there's anything wrong with the Alpine. Yes, he's missing an end plate on his.
Yeah.
A bit of wing as well on that left-hand side, so that's going to be
Xavier was struggling. Xavier was struggling under the power going up the hill. Then and I think Ujoni's going to try and have a look. As Ben trying to look at the Ferrari.
DRS now. Yep, there it is. DRS enabled. So Ujoni will have it on the run to turn 4.
This will be the key part, is to see when Ujoni can actually take the lead for the first time this race, or whether Xavier's going to be able to hold it off. I think Ujoni, Ben, Chris, they're playing it smart at the moment. They're going to wait for uphill, I think, towards the end of the lap. And he thinks as they still follow Linus that he's looking very squirrely out of a fair few corners, this Xavier at the moment, getting on the power.
Yeah, it does look to.
I can see the car shake quite a bit.
Calvin 3 seconds towards the back as well.
Oh well, there goes that paddock pass for you. For the season.
Chris doing well to hold on to the back of Ben on those hard tyres, he has a little moment.
Yeah, Ben's had a moment, I think, as well. Was he ghosted then?
Yes, he has. He was ghosted for a brief moment, which has left him vulnerable to...
Yeah, Chris is going to have a go, and I think the Kick Sauber's going to have a go as well. As Joni, unfortunately, I'm sorry, apologies if you have missed it. As Joni has managed to take the lead under DRS from Saviour now, and I think, is he going to try...
Saviour's going to be able to have a look back into 4, because it's 2 separate detection points.
It is, yes, and I think... Is Saviour going to try and get back in there? Because I think Chris, after Ben's little mistake, is smelling blood in the water a little bit now.
Just had a change for 6th and 7th. Jules is ahead of Sam Flam now.
Yep, as they
turn 4 with DRS.
As they fly up the hill. Again, this is one of the reasons why I like this place. There's a fair few spots to overtake here. Isn't there?
Bergen with another 3 seconds.
Let's have a quick look at the penalties.
Ooh, bit of a save for Jules as well.
On that one, it. Not many tonight. A couple of 3 seconds and the 1.6 for Bergen. As we'll put the interval and the tyres up a little bit just so everyone can see what happens. And I think Ujoni's breaking away a little bit now.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a gap to Saviour. I mean, as long as he gets...
Is that one of McLaren's round? I think that's Keyser, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Soze that's had a moment.
And this one...
The one thing that Chris and Ant, because they're on the hard tyre, don't have to worry about
is the tyre deck.
They can lean as so much more on their tyres once they got them working.
Oh yeah, they can be a hell of a lot more aggressive.
Because the one thing I can say with Chris, he is not good on tyres.
Yeah, I thought he would have picked up some
old... He's quite aggressive on his tyres, so...
Yeah, I thought he would have picked up some...
decided to go for the hard tyre over the medium.
Possibly. I thought he might have picked up some tyre whispering tips from his old teammate. Back in the Mercedes days.
Well, they are in a party together.
Ah, that's fair. That might explain it. Still the mutual respect, even though they're not on the same team anymore. As Ben with the fastest lap. Saviour's going. No, he's going to go wheel to wheel. He's got to watch he doesn't drop a position in Aston Martin.
I enjoy turn 1 because if you hold the car just right, you can defend around the outside and hold it for the inside.
2 wide, 2x2 at the moment.
Ooh, yeah.
This is fantastic.
Ben, and I think Ben's having a look at, well, had a little look at Ujoni, but slotted back in.
Let's turn the interval off so we can see this battle a little bit clearer. This is not over yet, and this is still 10 laps of this to go.
Yeah, plus the extra one on the final lap, as Bobo's got 3 seconds as he went past Lorpy, but... Oh, he's gone! Bobo's gone, and we have a safety car.
Another safety car. Now,
Bobo's gone in the middle sector.
I wonder, are people going to swap to mediums again?
I think these front 5 will probably look at staying out. Yep. Everyone in that top group have carried on.
Yeah.
Samflam not too far back off them.
LRL's pitting.
Calvin and Bergen in as well, and so's Lorpy. I don't think it hurts too much with those couple drivers towards the back going for a... Oh, LRL's go for a soft. So's Lorpy.
I wonder if they're throwing the
going
to roll the dice.
Calvin have gone for fresh medium tyres.
And then again, this is what I said with qualifying. This is what I said with qualifying as well. People who did a lap on the mediums. Are they going to have the spare set?
Yeah, I think it always helps to have that spare set of mediums, especially if safety cars come about, because...
That's my thinking.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I regret doing a lap on the mediums in qualifying, because it took that yes, you don't put much life in them, but it does take that little bit of tyre life out of them. But no, the only ones to pit LRL 11th, Calvin 12th, Berlin 13th, Lorpy 14th and Soze in 15th. Everybody else has stayed out under the safety car. It's going to be interesting though to see what LRL can do on those softs.
Yeah,
and I don't think they drop off that quickly, but it'll be interesting to see how many laps he can get out of them.
He's got one major advantage though now. The car is going to be a lot lighter.
Yeah, so as Lorp is back in again.
I wonder if he does not like those tyres. No damage on the Red Bull, I can see.
No, he's
swapped over to mediums.
A set of mediums.
Didn't want to risk those tyres. Let's have a quick ganders at everybody's tyres. So LRL is the leading car at the moment who has pitted on here. He's got 1 lap on his soft tyres compared to the 9 laps everybody else in front. I can't see him getting directly to the front, but I think he's got a good chance of fighting for some good points today.
He could pick off if he's got some pace.
He can pick off Mudev, Dynamite, and I think
pick off a few.
I think he can get to P7, P8 possibly.
Should have the green light to go again with the safety car coming in. Should be this lap.
But you know who is going to be cursing their luck probably the most at the moment? Chris. Because this safety car pretty much guarantees now the medium runners don't have to worry about their tyre wear for the rest of the race. Now, does it?
Yeah. Mind you, he's hung on well to the likes of Xavier, Eugenie and Ben specifically because of where he is. And Xavier's going again. But Ben's kept Eugenie company and he's very close.
He has, and he's going to be very close to this one. He's gone for it. He's got second place on this one.
And Micromash continue their little scrap for 5th and 6th because Jules got alongside but was unable to make the move
same
into
penalties
one.
as well for them, and I think, is Jules going to have a quick look? No, thinks better of it for the next 6 or 7 laps of this brilliant, fantastic, very changeable conditions for Brazil. Oh, Jules gets another 3.
Jules.
Yeah, he's going to fall back down a bit further down the grid now, and I think this may put him on risk with LRL if he's not going to be able to break away from that 6 seconds in time.
Yeah, speaking of LRL, I'm going to drop down to him to see how he does on the soft tyres. He's not made any gains yet, but we will have DRS at the start of lap 30. So everyone within a second will have DRS on the run down to 4.
Although Saviour's further away from Ben than Ben's not close.
Chris is looking very bit
of contact with Eugenie.
Yep.
Oh, I think Chris has managed to wake up those hard tyres and just think, right, I've got nothing to lose here, boys. I'm going to start making my moves. And this one, he's playing with Eugenie. He's looking left, right, each another way, just trying to see if he can work out where to pass him.
Yeah, the thing is
fantastic racing.
You definitely, especially in the dry now, you definitely got to watch your ERS levels because you don't want to use too much by the end of the lap, especially if you want to try and line a move up.
I think the rule with people...
You do gain a lot in the middle sector though with the braking.
Yeah, I think a lot of people switch it off up the hill and then they just recharge it.
Yeah.
To come back. As soon as they've gone back down the hill, they'll recharge and go dump it up the hill again. Saviour's managing to keep that 4/10 gap to him and Ben pretty much. And Ben is not been able to break you.
Saves him for turn 1, but he's only getting a bit of a total look round. Oh, there's
contact!
Chris having a little look to see if he could take advantage, but sadly he couldn't because he was partially boxed in.
No, I don't think there's any damage on the Aston Martin.
And Jules into play now, slightly behind. Yes, they've both got penalties.
Yeah, they could be quite flying the ointment to these last few laps, but
Bergen's got past LRL on the on his mediums to LRL soft tyres, so I don't think the soft tyres are working that well for LRL.
No, they're not been fired up enough, and I think it was worth a gamble of where he was, but I don't think it's going to probably pay off, unfortunately. As I'm sorry, we've been avoiding literally all the other battles tonight. I've just been keeping an eye on this front group of 5 or 6. It's been absolutely enthralling racing between the lot of them tonight, and it's not over yet.
Everybody is roughly within DRS apart from Sam Flam, who's just dropped out of a second.
Ben's closer this time. He can try the outside this time.
And he's done it.
Sweeps on the outside, take the lead, and I think Eugeni's going to sniffs a bit of blood in the water with the Visa Cash App RB. He's going to try and get him down to turn 4, but I don't think he's close enough. Xavier's trying just to get back ahead of Ben at the moment. And I'm wondering if people are going to try and hold it to the last lap and try and get up the hill. Save all the battery for the uphill in the final lap.
Yeah, as we've seen in the past, especially with the particular race back here in MRC-X, that famous drag to the line between Xavier and Chris. It definitely helps to be second going on to the final lap, especially into that final part of the lap.
Yeah, and especially with everybody's DRS levels as well, who's going to do what. But I think Ben's breaking away a little bit from Xavier at the minute. It's got the gap up to about half a second at the moment, but I don't think he's going to be able to drop the DRS completely, as Chris is lining up Ujoni into turn 1, but Ujoni's going to try and get the Xavier on there. I don't tries not to, luckily not ends up in a complete smash up, as Micromash is taking up the opportunity now. He's trying to get involved in this. Chris is getting his elbows out and thinking, I'm not going to have you can't really get rid of this, but Chris rounding outside nicely. Very nice little overtake from Chris, and he manages to hold position, but he's lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think
to the front 3. It's not ideal for him.
That was more Micromash going in a bit too hot into turn 4 and outbraking himself, which didn't help him, but Chris holding it round the outside to take the position back.
Yeah, I think this front 3 is starting to break away from Chris now.
He's still within 7/10 of Ujoni, so he still will have DRS off the Ferrari.
Yes, the RB of Xavier lining up Ben for turn 1. Think he's going to try it. He's through.
Bergen with the fastest lap.
And he will get the point for it. He's in P10.
But he's carrying those 6 seconds.
That is true, yes. Don't think he's far ahead of Mudev.
No, he's about 1.5 ahead of Mudev at the moment. I mean,
another 3 seconds for Calvin.
Oh dear.
Let's switch off the tyres and we'll just
Mudev and especially Mudev. If LRL can overtake Mudev, LRL could be looking at a point.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic result for him.
But those soft tyres do not seem to be working for him.
No, they're going to be dying off quite quickly soon as well.
Yeah.
Although Xavier's got the gap now, I think that's the biggest that gap's been for the majority of the race. Close to 7/10. I think Ujoni's going to try and have a look at the Aston. Chris thinks better of it, but he's going to
and you got
probably try and lose out to the kick Sauber.
Chris at the same time.
Chris knows
he's so bunched up.
Chris knows he doesn't have to really risk much with Micromash and Jules because they've got those penalties. But I know Chris wants to push forward.
Yeah, and
it's not helping his cause at the moment.
No, he will not be wanting Jules and Micromash fighting him, because it means he slowly drops off the likes of Eugenie, who's at the back of who's the car just in front.
Although Ben is getting that gap close back to Xavier again. I think he may try to get him up the hill, but we'll see as they head round down the hill into John South for the penultimate time. Now, do you think Xavier will try and gap them, or try and maybe see them let them through to get so you can have a run up the hill? But I don't think Ben's close enough.
I think Xavier's going to be hoping to hold the gap, especially.
Yeah, Eugenie's going to go the inside. Very, very close. They're still wheel to wheel through turn 3. This is phenomenal.
That would have definitely have helped Xavier.
It would have dropped. It's going to drop him into Chris's clutches as well. Who's been holding their battery for this last blast up the hill? Who's been holding all of the battery back? Just to make sure they can just use all the overtake they need to up the hill, because this is going to be a very tight finish, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, all of those, especially Xavier, Eugenie, Ben and Chris, are going to be saving as much as they can through this twistier part of the lap, and every one of them out of the penultimate corner will just dump everything, especially Xavier. Eugenie's right on the back.
He's right in his gearbox.
He'll have DRS and he's going to just be dumping.
Yeah, he's going to have the chance to get it, but I think Xavier's got enough. Xavier takes
15,000.
15,000th of a second. That's crazy of a tight finish. Well done to Xavier on that one. With so much pressure. Actually well done to that front 5. That was impressive, and especially with Bobo as well, especially in that first stint after the pit stops. That was incredible. I think that's one of the best races I've probably commented on for Tier 1.
It's the magic of Brazil.
It is. It's why this track should stay on the calendar. FIA, you're listening.
Bergen drive of the day.
By the game, but I think I'll give my prediction in a minute, but I think I might give it to another driver.
He's got a possible shot, especially with where he started to where he finished. I mean, unfortunately, carrying 6 seconds obviously dropped him down.
And this one, as we get the podium celebrations, well done to Xavier, Joni, and to Ben.
Yeah,
fantastic result for the front
held on for the fastest lap as well. So, sadly for those in the top 10, no bonus points for anyone in there, because Bergen nicked your fastest lap and he's finished outside the top 10.
He wouldn't be in a cash app, would he? Tonight. But no, as we'll finish up with the order, so it will be Xavier who wins the race. Eugenie takes second. Ben rounds out the podium. Chris in 4th, Anton 5th. Kid Dynamite in 6th. Micromash 7th. Samflan 8th. Jules 9th. Mudev 10th. LRL unfortunately doesn't get the points. He takes 11th. Bergen 12th. Calvin 13th. Armour Red 14th. Lorpy 15th. Kiza Souza 16th. G-Star in 17th. And your unfortunate non-finishers were Bobo in 18th, Error Voice, and Hodgie, unfortunately, was the first retiree. So, Carl, who would you give your driver of the day to?
Well, anyone in that top 3 or 4, because of how phenomenal the race was. I mean, Bobo, unfortunate not to finish after such a brilliant opening stint, to be a part of that group of 5 that was constantly at the front. Xavier defending like an absolute lion for majority of that race, and I think because of his management and the way he was able to hold off the cars behind, I'm looking at Saviour just because of how he controlled everything from the front throughout the majority of that race, because it was very well controlled.
I'm going to have to agree with you, actually. I will give it to Saviour as well as my driver of the day, because, as you said, he soaked up so much pressure from Ben, so much pressure from Mujoni, and...
especially to hold off Eugenie by 15 thousandths across the line.
Cracking finish. And we know how well a good a driver Saviour is, especially with all the titles he's won.
It's not the first time he's held somebody off by a small margin. Sorry, Chris.
But no, I think we're in unanimous agreement on that one, but we'll give it to Saviour.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that is the end of the racing action for this Monday night. But turn those frowns upside down, but you have some racing later on in the week, with the Tier 3 boys kicking off at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. You'll be able to see my other partner in crime, Mr. Hardy, see how he got on in his race. And then we have the X-treme boys. They have their race at 8:45 round here from Brazil as well. But
yes, and I'll be leading that one, so you'll have to hear my horrid voice again.
Oh, don't be silly. But just to put the cherry on top of the cake, we have the MRC-X race from... Is it Vegas on that one? I'm not so unfortunately sure.
We're going gambling. We're going gambling before the Christmas break.
Keep you out of the casinos. But no, we'll be in Vegas for that one as well on 7:30. We'll double check and get the format to you as soon as possible.
I believe the commentators for that one are Simon and myself. So again,
busy night tonight.
You're hearing me for a third time this week.
Busy week for all of you, but thank you once again, Carl, for joining me in the box on this one. So much knowledge between us today. It was fantastic. So again, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it always helps to have two encyclopedias. But to be honest, if you're a fan of F1, everybody's got good knowledge of the sport.
No worries. Thanks again, Carl, for joining me, and we'll be seeing you all later on in the week. Take care, everybody. Good night.